This is a First Alert 7 weather day. Now an update from meteorologist Sawyer McElroy.
Good morning and happy Tuesday, everybody. Here's a look at that live radar as we do start off the day, continuing to see showers and thunderstorms across portions of West Texas into southeast New Mexico, even though that coverage has decreased just slightly. But we still do have heavy rain across portions of Midland, Ector County this morning, and we still do have that flash flood warning until 8:30. Including Odessa, West Odessa. This is considerable threat, radar and gauge indicated. And as you can still see, some heavy areas of rainfall, lots of lightning still this morning, as denoted by obviously those lightning flashes, but also those reds, those yellows of rainfall starting to push into Midland slowly but surely. Actually, I will show the iCam in just a moment, and it's a beautiful start to the day in Midland. We also do have a flash flood warning for Pecos, Reeves, and Ward County, and that continues until 7:45, along with a flash flood warning all the way off to the west. Actually, flash flood warning was just issued for the Marfa area, but I'll talk about that in just a second. We have one for Culberson, Jeff Davis, and Presidio counties until 7, and then this flash flood warning was just issued for Jeff Davis and Presidio County until 9:30, including Marfa, because of radar and gauge indicated rainfall. Here's a look at some of our observed rainfall this morning across portions of the region. Odessa's airport now up to 7/10 of an inch, or 3/4 of an inches of rainfall. Midland International up to about 1/10 of an inch. So lots of rainfall so far to start off the day. Looking at those temperatures sitting in the 60s and 70s across the state. And looking at that First Alert 7 10-day forecast this morning, we are going to see much cooler temperatures across the region. 74 for that high temperature for the Midland Odessa area. A little bit warmer, a little bit drier Wednesday and Thursday, ahead of some more rainfall for the weekend.
Okay, well, definitely a lot going on this Tuesday morning, and polls are about to open for Election Day on the runoffs at 7 a.m. today. So, Sawyer, for those heading out to the polls this morning, it's going to be important to also be mindful where you're driving because of the localized heavy flooding that we're seeing in portions of the area, but also to keep an umbrella handy because, like you said, this is not the only round we may see today.
No, we are not yet done. You know, we have this rainfall this morning and expecting rainfall as we continue throughout the day. Not, a washout through today, but more rounds coming up later this afternoon and evening, and the potential for severe weather as well.
And I know we always like to see the rainfall across the area, but we also like a good sunrise as we take a live look outside. I just want to show you this. Isn't that beautiful, Sawyer?
It's stunning, Matthew. I love this sunrise. As you can see, not even raining at this is the Petroleum Museum in Midland, I-20 there off in the distance. Not even raining, but look at that. A beautiful, beautiful start to the day. I could just stare at this all morning. Obviously, I can't because I have, more pressing matters to talk about. But a beautiful start to the day over there in the Tall City.
All right, keep it right here on Wake Up West Texas. We'll be right back. Time now is 6:31 on this Tuesday, a first alert weather day. Let's get right to the First Alert Weather Center with meteorologist Sawyer McRae for the latest. Sawyer, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Matthew. Happy Tuesday. Here's a look at those first alert weather headlines. So today is a first alert weather day. We are expecting multiple rounds of thunderstorms as we head through the day. So we are not done yet as we continue throughout our Tuesday. Some strong to severe as well. Now through tonight, not raining all day. So we are going to see some breaks in that rain. But like we mentioned, or I mentioned, multiple rounds of thunderstorms. Impact's going to be heavy rain and flooding. Already seeing that across portions of the region this morning, but also large hail, strong winds, and a tornado or two. Looking at that live radar, you can still see that heavy rainfall, especially across the Midland Odessa area, starting to push into Midland County, but still kind of just training over the Odessa area this morning with lots of lightning as well. 4 different flash flood warnings across portions of the region as we start off our day. One for the Odessa area, one for Pecos and Reeves area, one for the Marfa area, and then one just to the east of Van Horn. Looking at our observed rainfall across portions of the region this morning, this is of course at our reporting sites. Some areas seeing more, some areas seeing less, anywhere from about 1/100th of an inch to almost an inch, 7/10, almost 8/10 of an inch at Odessa's airport as we start off our day. And here's a look at what you need as you head out the door this morning. That hot or cold beverage, umbrella, definitely rain boots, and give yourself extra time to get to your destination safely.
Sawyer, thank you. Let's turn out to the latest as K-pop supergroup BTS took home Artist of the Year at last night's American Music Awards. Well, in a night filled with throwbacks, Fergie reunited with the Black Eyed Peas. Bradley Blackburn has the latest for us.
In over 4 years, make some noise for BTS!
AMA's host Queen Latifah welcomed BTS back to American television for their first primetime appearance in years after a break for service in the Korean military. The K-pop group won Song of the Summer and Artist of the Year.
It's an honor to have this precious award once again after everybody done their military service.
The American Music Awards are fan-voted, so there were plenty of fan favorites filling the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. From the Pussycat Dolls to New Kids on the Block. Black Eyed Peas reunited on stage with Fergie, where they took home the award for Best Throwback Song, Rock That Body.
My longtime friends and brothers, the Black Eyed Peas.
There were new voices, too. New Artist of the Year winners Cat's Eye took the stage and electrified the crowd. And country star Riley Green performed his hit, Worst Way.
Let's turn the lights down.
Carol G performed and was presented with the award for International Artist of Excellence, while singer Leon Thomas took home his first AMA for Breakthrough R&B Artist. Billy Idol was back on stage singing an all-time classic. The punk rock icon received a Lifetime Achievement Award.
When I started out in punk rock back in 1976, we thought it may only last about 6 months, let alone 50 years.
A celebration of music of all kinds from the fans who've never stopped listening. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Now, Taylor Swift led the way with most nominations Monday night, but was shut out and received no awards. Well, think you've got the voice to make history? Be part of celebrating America's 250th. Enter by recording a video of you singing the national anthem as a solo a cappella performance and go to firstalert7.com/contest to upload the video. One lucky person will win an all-expenses-paid trip to Nashville, Tennessee to sing and record a performance of the national anthem that'll air all across the United States. firstalert7.com/contests. Well, what we've been waiting for, let's get straight back to the Weather Center for another update from meteorologist Sawyer McRae. Sawyer, good morning. What are you seeing?
Yeah, good morning, Matthew. A severe thunderstorm warning was actually just issued for portions of, let me see if it'll pull it up. Nope, it will not. Okay, for portions of Brewster, Jeff Davis, and Presidio counties for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So mostly dealing with those winds this morning, hail less than 3/4 of an inch in diameter. We also do have a flash flood warning out in that area until 9:30 a.m. And then also we do have a flash flood warning in effect until 7 for Culberson, Jeff Davis, and Presidio counties. Another flash flood warning for Pecos, Reeves, and Ward County until 7:45. And then also a flash flood warning until 8:30 for Andrews, Ector, Midland counties, including Odessa, West Odessa. And as you can see, still just kind of seeing that heavy rainfall socked directly over Odessa right now, starting to push into Midland County, and we've even started picking up some rainfall at Midland International Air and Spaceport this morning. And here's a look at our observed rainfall across the region. Look at that now. Odessa's airport, 9/10 of an inch. Closer and closer to that 1-inch mark. And we are not yet done with our rain threat and severe weather threat as we head through today. Let me kind of zoom through this really quick this morning to get to that severe weather threat. So this is our severe weather outlook for today. Scattered strong severe storms will be possible for those areas in yellow. This is mostly this afternoon and evening. However, the activity this morning could damper our severe weather threat later today. Isolated strong severe storms possible for those areas in dark green. Large hail, strong winds, and a tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Looking at that first alert 7-10 day forecast, 74 today, so much cooler, a little bit drier, a little bit warmer Wednesday and Thursday ahead of some more active weather into the weekend.
Sawyer, thank you. Still ahead, last week, a catastrophic chemical tank explosion in California. Now, officials scale back evacuation orders and many families are allowed to return home. We have details on that next on Wake Up West Texas.
First Alert 7 News, you're watching Wake Up West Texas with Matthew Alvarez and weather with Sawyer McElroy.
We're taking a look now live over Odessa this morning as we're looking outside as the rain continues to fall over portions of the Permian Basin this morning, still under the imminent threat of flash flooding across portions of the Permian Basin, which do include portions of Andrews County, far western portions of Midland County, all of Ector County, even into Ward County, northern Reeves County as well, all included in this, in Crane County. Further south in the mountainous regions, we're looking around Jeff Davis County, portions of Presidio County, and as well as Culberson County and as well. So all of these counties included in a lot of flash flooding situations happening across the Permian Basin. Localized heavy downpours going to be a possibility. That area of rainfall kind of just sitting over Odessa at the moment. That is the main area of concern right now, as a lot of folks are going to be getting out and about this morning on their morning commutes. We're going to be, of course, checking in a little bit with meteorologist Sawyer McElroy in the Weather Center, who's keeping track of the conditions outside and what to expect. You're looking live over Andrews now, near the Veterans Memorial, where again they're seeing lots of rainfall there. There's not a flash flood warning currently in the city of Andrews, but southern Andrews County does indeed have that for 1 to 2 inches possible in certain areas, even more possibly in other locations across the Permian Basin. Your weather forecast coming up in just a few minutes. But first, we'll begin with California Governor Gavin Newsom, who on Monday announced President Donald Trump approved the state's request for a presidential emergency declaration for the response to a dangerously unstable chemical tank at an aerospace facility near Anaheim. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of people evacuated due to the risk are now allowed to go home, as officials say the danger, while still present, has been greatly reduced. Reed Binion reports.
I can now tell you that we can reduce our evacuation zone area.
Authorities in California significantly scaling back evacuation orders Monday, now that they say the risk of a catastrophic chemical tank explosion has been eliminated. Until Monday evening, roughly 50,000 people had been asked to evacuate due to the danger.
They came and said, you got 20 minutes to get out your house, grab your stuff and go.
While many of those displaced residents are now allowed to return home, thousands of others are not.
For those that remain impacted, I know this may be frustrating. That number is approximately 16,000 of you.
Last week, heat and pressure started building up in the tank, which holds 7,000 gallons of a chemical called MMA, a compound that can cause serious health problems. Officials worked at the site through the weekend, aided by cool water dousing the overheated tank for days to help bring down the temperature. Crews worked overnight Sunday into Memorial Day, investigating a crack in the tank, which authorities had said might alleviate pressure and prevent a disaster.
That was our huge moment in this incident that we were able to capitalize on and take control of it.
However, authorities say the tank continues to pose a risk.
It's not over yet. We still have work to do. We still have to mitigate a fire and very small explosion concern, and also a spill potential.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Talking political news now, there is one seat left to fill in Ector County. That'll be decided after the primary election runoff today. That is our big story of the day. It is Election Day in Texas. Lifelong Odessans Grayson Hankins and Jason Payne are running to be your Ector County Commissioner in Precinct 2. First Alert 7 Sierra Burnett explains.
Starting with Grayson Hankins, he's a third-generation Odessan that is also raising his family here. He chose to run to create positive change in the community he feels he knows best. Hankins says he hears the concerns of residents regarding infrastructure, water, and public safety, and agrees that change is needed.
We need to have a plan when things arise, and we have not had plans, long-range plans in the county before, and so it's important that we focus on those things and make sure that we're ready when things change and we see growth and things like that.
Hankins' opponent, Jason Payne, was also born and raised in Odessa. Payne is a nurse practitioner with a medical practice opened in 2019. He values accountability and transparency, promising to be responsive to every corner of Precinct 2. Overall, Payne has a lot of energy and is looking for feedback from the community. First Alert 7 received a statement from Jason Payne reading in part, quote, "Our community deserves leadership that listens, works hard, and puts people before politics. I believe I have the stamina to work hard and bring the community's voice back to the Commissioner's Court." End quote. For voters, those who have already voted in the Republican or Democratic primary this year can only vote in that same party's runoff. If you did not vote in March, you can choose to vote in either party's runoff. Reporting for First Alert 7 News, I'm Sierra Burnett.
Now, some other local runoffs we are following today are in Midland County, where the race for county judge comes down to Jay Marquez and Karen Hood. But there's also the race for Midland County Commissioner Precinct 4, and as you just saw, the Ector County Commissioner race in Precinct 2, and many others across West Texas. We are following all of them. You can tune into our live coverage later today on First Alert 7 News at 10, once the polls close at 7 p.m. We'll have the latest update on our Facebook page, our website, firstalert7.com, and of course, the First Alert 7 mobile news app. In the meantime, hundreds of bikers gathered at the Permian Basin Vietnam Memorial yesterday in preparation for a long-standing Memorial Day tradition. The machines were loud, but not as loud as the message itself, riding for everyone who couldn't be there. The trip is not a parade, it's an honor ride, and for Wild Bill himself, it is deeply personal.
My best friend was killed in Vietnam, along with some of my classmates that I went to school with at Robert E. Lee High School and Midland High School. We ride for them.
The route runs from Midland to Odessa, then wrapping up north to Andrews. Our iCam in Andrews actually caught bikers filing into the Veteran Memorial there on the bottom of your screen. They were then treated to a free barbecue lunch hosted by the Andrews community.
This is a First Alert 7 weather day. Now an update from meteorologist Sawyer McElroy.
Good morning and happy Tuesday, everybody. Here's a look at that live radar as we do start off the day. Still hanging on to some showers, some thunderstorms across portions of West Texas into southeast New Mexico. Stepping off the wall really quick to be able to show you all of our different weather alerts this morning. So we did just have a flash flood warning issued for portions of Andrews County. Let me see if I can get that one in the scope. There we go. Andrews, Martin, and Midland County until 9:45. This is due to radar engaged indication of flooding. Then our one in Odessa, including Andrews, portions of Andrews, Ector, and Midland County, and that still continues until at 8:30. Considerable flash flooding is ongoing here, along with a flash flood warning for Pecos, Reeves, and Ward counties until 7:45 for the Valentine area, and also for Marfa. And that is where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning this morning, and that continues until, let me see. That continues until 7:15 for those areas for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So also seeing some severe weather this morning. We are not yet done with the potential for rain or severe weather. And here's a look at that observed rainfall across portions of our reporting sites. Odessa's airport has bridged that 1-inch mark, 1.05 inches at Odessa's airport this morning. Midland International about 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch for Pecos, 3/10 for Monahans. Temperatures this morning sitting in the 50s, 60s, and 70s with winds anywhere from about 5 to 30 miles per hour. As you can see, though, where that severe thunderstorm warning is for Marfa, we do have sustained winds up to 30 miles per hour. Those wind gusts, like I mentioned, to about 60 miles per hour. Through today, we are looking to see some more rainfall, some more severe weather possible as well, and some more flash flooding. Here's a look at that severe weather outlook for today. Scattered strong severe storms possible for those areas in yellow. Isolated strong severe storms for those areas in dark green. Temperatures today will remain on the cooler side, especially under all this rainfall, cloud cover as well. Highs into the 70s, 80s, and even a few 90s. For today, though, 74 degrees for the Midland Odessa area. A little bit warmer, a little bit drier Wednesday and Thursday. Ahead of some more active weather Friday and into the weekend.
Okay, definitely a lot going on. Be sure to have the First Alert 7 mobile weather app on hand. That is the tool to have right now. As this storm threat does continue to happen across the Permian Basin this morning. I want to show you now, Sawyer, the Storm Center Encore outage map right now, where there's power outage reported across a large portion of the Permian Basin today. A lot of them are located on the western part of Odessa out there. About 1,600 customers from Encore without power in the western portion of Odessa into the north side, even into West Odessa. But we're starting to see, Sawyer, that storm push into Midland and along with it more power outages.
Yeah, a couple power outages in Midland now as that activity does push into that area. So looking to see that number probably increasing as we head throughout today.
For sure. And we just saw an update there as more power outages do continue to filter on in. Checking on some of them. Right now, Sawyer, the restoration time is going to vary quite a bit. I'm seeing restoration time for Odessa about 11:30. It was 11 a.m. It's pushed to 11:30 now. So it's going to vary when linemen can get out there and begin the work on restoring the power. They do work in these conditions, of course, but it's also quite dangerous. They have to navigate through the flooding as well. So it's going to just depend on what is safe for them and how quickly they can get on board with that. Some locations are reporting a 9:30 restoration time. So really, Sawyer, it does vary on when they're able to address these outages out here.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, it's continuing to rain outside as we take a live look outside over Odessa. There's a lot going on out there, Sawyer. The roadways are really starting to show a lot of water out there. On my own weather station at my own house, it is showing an inch and 3/4, excuse me, almost
Wow.
2 inches of rain reported at my own little weather station there. And that varies for different locations, of course.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Odessa's airport over an inch of rain already so far today. And more rounds of rain and thunderstorms are expected as we continue throughout our Tuesday.
Okay, well, one last check of your forecast coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
I'm Vladimir Dutip. Coming up on CBS Mornings, my conversation with comedian Josh Johnson, one of the Daily Show hosts, on making his way up the comedy ranks and hosting his own HBO special. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Here's another look at that First Alert 7 10-day forecast on this First Alert weather day. We just lost power here at First Alert 7, so hopefully y'all can still hear me. 74 for that high temperature today, a little bit warmer and drier coming up Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay, yeah, definitely a lot going on. Yes, our power just flickered here. We're back on generator power. Hopefully you can still see us. I know you can see us on Facebook. We'll continue our coverage live in just a moment on Wake Up West Texas Extra. Be safe out there.
From First Alert 7 News, with coverage of the Permian Basin, you're watching Wake Up West Texas Extra.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for streaming with us here on this Tuesday, a First Alert weather day. We appreciate you sticking with us here on Facebook Live, bearing with us as we had to deal with some technical things behind the scenes because our power cut out briefly.
Power shut off right at the end of Wake Up West Texas.
Yes.
We are up and running now, though, luckily, again. Still kind of getting some things going, such as my weather graphics up and rolling on my computer here. So just bear with us a little bit, but we are here, and I'm going to give a forecast of what's happening, an update, I guess, of what's happening this morning.
And speaking of, let's take a look at Router 4 outside this morning. This is going to be our iCam outside over the skies of Odessa. Look at that.
Wow.
You can see quite a lot of water on the roadways there. That is the scene. We're seeing some emergency vehicles there on the right as well. We can probably assume there's going to be a few situations with high water issues. Oof. We have seen a lot of lightning and electrical situations going on. I saw on our iCam off screen and off camera when that lightning bolt hit that took our power out. We luckily are on generator power here at the mall. And looks like we're okay. May have just taken it out for a moment.
Yeah, just a
because usually the mall's dark.
Yeah, the mall power is back on.
Not
so
too
I think
bad.
The power overall is back on, even though we would have generator power anyway. But
and you can see it's still
lots of lighting this morning.
Yeah.
Still, as we start off our day.
Yes, and so we're hoping that this starts to pass on very quickly. We can bring up Router 5 now on your screen, and that is going to show the Storm Center Encore outage map there. Over 1,800 customers. This is in Odessa.
Wow.
Without power, so it has increased quite a bit. Restoration time, Sawyer, now pushed to noon.
Wow.
Outside across the area, so crews are going to start getting out there as soon as they can. Of course, they have to also deal with the flooding conditions outside in the area. Midland, you're just now getting into the storm itself. It has finally made its way off to the north and northeast. Ever so slowly, it has truly trained over the entirety of Wake Up West Texas from 5 to 7 a.m. and sat over Odessa, leaving behind several inches of rainfall. As we go back to Router 4 out there, Sawyer has popped up an iCam for us to look at.
Still not even really raining there.
Still not raining very much, barely at all in Midland. So you're right. And that's good news. I mean, luckily you're not seeing the flooding just yet in Midland, but it is on the way.
I was going to say, it's on the way, definitely, but yeah, you can even see some sunshine out there this morning. So it's kind of, we talked about a tale of two cities yesterday with Big Spring and the fog. This morning, tale of two cities between literally Midland and Odessa because of that flooding, that rain, the conditions that we're seeing as we start off the day. It looks still quite dry at the Petroleum Museum and looking towards I-20. However, if you are out on the roads this morning, I-20 between Pecos to Odessa, Monahans area, rain pretty much, and flooding and flash flood warnings for all of those areas. 191 between Midland and Odessa, of course, going to see some flooding, especially those low-lying areas off the loops like always. So on the frontage roads. So please keep that in mind as you are heading out the door this morning. Give yourself extra time to get to your destination safely. Turn around, don't drown, like we always stress. Please, 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 please stay home if you can, or try to take an alternate route if you can.
Yes, let's bring up Max 1 now and go ahead and get into the forecast this morning. Looking at the observed rainfall totals, significant already, Sawyer.
Yeah, we do have a lot of rainfall this morning across the region. Odessa's airport, almost about 1.75 inches.
Wow.
1.71 inches of rain. One of the kind of heaviest hit areas this morning. Monahans at about 0.3, Pecos at almost about 0.3 as well. Even Midland International finally up to about 0.2 of an inch. So we have seen the rainfall increasing there. Here we go. Now I'm going to head over to radar, which of course everybody is looking for this morning. And now I'm going to walk over to the Weather Center and kind of finagle this for y'all so you can see this. Here's a look at our weather alerts this morning. So we do have multiple flash flood warnings and even 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. So this first flash flood warning is in effect for portions of, Andrews, Martin, and Midland counties until 9:45 a.m. And then we also do have a considerable threat to the Ector County, Odessa area. This is until 8:30. And then we do also have this flash flood warning for portions of Reeves County, Ward, and Pecos until 7:45. Then, like I mentioned, also a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings as we start off our day. So let me kind of try and get zoomed into those. So we have one for Jeff Davis County for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then also this severe thunderstorm warning kind of rolling into Alpine, and that is just for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Also a flash flood warning for that area, and that continues until 9:30. So we are seeing this rainfall ongoing across the region. Mostly it has been across the Permian Basin, but as you can see off to the west, see if I can pull up my pointer. There we go. You know, we have that activity still coming towards us, and then still dealing with some very heavy rainfall across portions of the Permian Basin. Even though rain has lightened down across portions of Ector County, still seeing some heavier pockets of those yellows, those greens this morning as we do start off our day. So really just kind of wanted to highlight that. We'll talk about temperatures this morning really quickly, sitting in the 50s, 60s, and 70s with winds anywhere from about 5 to 25 miles per hour. Through today, we are looking to see more showers and thunderstorms and even the potential for severe weather. So here's a look at that severe weather outlook. However, the activity that we've seen this morning may decrease our severe weather threat later today. That is to be determined still, but looking at that first alert 7-10-day forecast, much cooler today with highs only in the 70s for the Midland Odessa area, a little bit drier and warmer, coming up Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, Sawyer, thank you very much for a look at that forecast this morning. A lot going on for sure.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm winded.
Yes, no, as we get into your morning extra, I do want to talk about Odessa College. They have sent out a Wrangler alert to students saying because of the flooding and the situation in Odessa, OC will have a delayed start of 10 a.m. today. Okay. So they're not going to go in for a few hours. This includes the main campus in Odessa, but also all the extension sites, which include Andrews Pecos as well, included in this, as well as the WEC building, the Learning Resource Center, and Children's Center. 10 a.m. start because of the flooding situation in Odessa, trying to avoid people from having to travel out there.
Oh, definitely. And, you know, we tried to say stay off the roads if you can for sure this morning because we are seeing those areas of flooding. Do we have any comments, Matthew, as we start off the day?
Nothing so much. We are open to questions. Please, if you have any questions, if you're watching us this morning, we're able to talk to you directly through here. That's what's good about Wake Up West Texas Extra. We can hear from you. Belinda says, good morning. Thankful for this rain. My trees, plants, and flowers needed it.
Yes, you know, a lot of the time we don't see terribly impressive rainfall in these areas, but, you know, definitely picking it up already so far today, and more threats for rain, severe weather as we continue through the day.
Very much so. And Monahan's reporting their phone lines are experiencing technical difficulties. So in the event of an emergency, you are able to dial 911 in Monahan's. For non-emergencies, there's a specific phone number. It's 438-8201. But their phone lines are having some problems there in Monahan's. This was posted a few hours ago now, as they were seeing that system move through their part of the Permian Basin. But we're getting quite a few videos I'm seeing of, well, the usual Dixie and 42nd Street. Not
Tom
good.
Green, probably.
People are stranded out there in Dixie and 42nd already. It is not good. Do not go to Dixie and 42nd Street. I'm thinking of Muskingum, Hancock, all of the usual areas on 8th Street, 23rd, Tom Green, exactly. In Midland, you will be seeing this shortly. Scarborough Draw, along anywhere those low water crossings, probably will be affected very shortly. Matt, again, if I said your name correctly, forgive me. When can we expect the flooding to go down near university? To go down? It's always tough to say. It could take all day long before flooding even resolves.
I was going to say, we have more rain coming up throughout the day, so it's a little bit hard to say at the time, because even if rainfall has finished, we could see flooding, you know, just because of how much rain we've seen hours after the rainfall has ended. So currently not our severe thunderstorm warning, our flash flood warning, excuse me. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings across portions
elsewhere.
of the region. Not for Midland Odessa yet, but that flash flood warning does continue until I think 8:30. So still about an hour and 20 minutes, give or take, this morning. So, you know, use your best judgment. Please, you know, don't go out on the roads if you don't have to. Try to take an alternate route if you do know you have to go down any of those kind of low water crossings, those problem areas that we always see. You know, maybe try and get a ride from somebody that has a higher clearance vehicle if you have a low clearance vehicle. And of course, take your time across those roadways, even if you know, do have a higher kind of clearance car. You know, don't go blowing through those lights in those intersections.
Definitely not. Good advice there this morning, as we're likely going to see high water rescues in a lot of locations where these drivers are stranded. We don't want that to be used. So like Sawyer said, heed the warnings. stay home if you can. Stay off the roads for a few hours until the flooding does go down. But again, there's no answer to that question on when the flooding will get better. It's going to take some time. There's runoff that drains for a long time in these areas where maybe there's a lack of drainage. So do expect this to be quite an impactful morning of flooding across the Permian Basin today. And that's where we're here answering your questions. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours until 9 a.m. here on Wake Up West Texas Extra. And then again, Sawyer and I will be on for First Alert 7 News at noon when we're anticipating possibly more rainfall. So it's going to be a very eventful day across the Permian Basin, on top of it being runoff election day. We're trying to get people out to the polls, but only safely.
Yes,
if you can vote.
Please go safely.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back here in just a few minutes with another check of your forecast and also discussions with you and some news headlines as well. All next on Wake Up West Texas Extra.
From First Alert 7 News, with coverage of the Permian Basin, you're watching Wake Up West Texas Extra.
Continuing on this morning on Wake Up West Texas Extra, it's good to have you with us this morning as we are continuing to track the situation outside over Midland and Odessa with these torrential downpours that are happening across the Permian Basin, leading to several flash flood warnings that remain in effect for quite some time.
Yeah, you know, I think we're up to 5 different flash flood warnings across the region. Also, some severe thunderstorm warnings across those higher elevations of this morning. If you can take live radar this morning, I can show those to you as we start off the day. Here's a look at that radar. As you can see, we are starting to see a little bit of a lull across Pecos, Monahans, but still seeing some very, very heavy rainfall, especially starting to push into Midland County. So I'm going to zoom in on that and show you all that a little bit. Still barely raining at our ICAM over on the Petroleum Museum, but as you can see, starting to see that heavy rainfall into portions of Midland County. We still do have that flash flood warning, until 8:30 for Andrews, Ector, and portions of Midland counties. And like I mentioned, starting to see a little bit of a lull there, but more rain and storms off to our west. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the Alpine area, and that continues until 7:45 for a quarter-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and also some very heavy rainfall as denoted by those reds, those yellows there. And also another severe thunderstorm warning for that area. Sorry, we have a lot going on radar this morning. There we go. For other portions of Jeff Davis County, and that is until 7:30 for a quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Flash flood warning for that region as well, and that is until 9:30. This flash flood warning until, 7:45 for Pecos, Reeves, and Ward County. Should mostly be quiet there for now, but as you can see off to the west, they have more showers, thunderstorms, and then also that flash flood warning for Andrews, Ector, and Midland County until 8:30. Here's a look at our observed rainfall at some of our reporting sites across the area. Odessa's airport has received almost 2 inches of rain, 1.71 inches of rainfall, 2/10 for Midland International Air and Spaceport, 3/10 for Monahans, almost 3/10 for Pecos as well, about 2/10 for Andrews. So they are starting to pick up some rainfall this morning as well. Temperatures currently sitting anywhere from the 50s to the 70s. 61 in Odessa, 63 in Midland. Those winds anywhere from about 5 to 20 miles per hour. And we are seeing a little bit of rainfall at our ICAM. At least you can see that moisture on the ground, but still not, still on its way out there this morning. Those gusts anywhere up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Through today, more showers, thunderstorms, and the potential for severe weather. However, the activity this morning could lower our severe weather threat later today. But as of now, scattered strong severe storms possible for those areas in yellow, isolated strong severe storms possible for those areas in dark green. And that is why today is the first alert weather day. A little bit drier and warmer coming up Wednesday and Thursday. Ahead of some more active weather as we head into the weekend. And if we are dealing with this much rainfall today, having just a couple of days of dry conditions before some more rainfall, flooding could be a possibility once again this weekend.
Okay, I have to say it's definitely going to be quite a day to have the First Alert 7 weather app on hand. We've already had push alerts go out this morning when those flash flood warnings were issued. In your location, it follows you wherever you go. So download the app when you're connected on your First Alert 7, I should say, on your mobile phone and app as well. But also take us with you wherever you go. We're here every day doing Wake Up West Texas Extra from 7 to 9 a.m. It's a free app on First Alert 7 on your Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, whatever it is, wherever you get your news, you can have First Alert 7 for free. And we're here from 7 to 9 every weekday morning for Wake Up West Texas Extra, where we can interact with you directly. Ask questions, by the way, in the comment section below. We're watching the comment section on Facebook Live and YouTube, so we're able to take your questions there if you have any about the situation with weather or anything going on today. You can download the app on your connected TV, phone, or tablet. It is First Alert 7 on your schedule. But let's take a break now from weather and talk political news this morning, where there is one seat left to fill in Ector County because today is runoff election day. A lot of folks are going to be attempting to get out to the polls, which have opened 20 minutes ago.
Boy.
So you got to be careful out there. If you are able to get out and vote, of course, do so. The race we're following in Ector County, of course, is for lifelong Odessans Grayson Hankins and Jason Payne, running for Ector County Commissioner Precinct 2.
First Alert 7 Sierra Burnett tells us about their respective campaigns and how they plan to change Precinct 2 for the better.
Starting with Grayson Hankins, he's a third-generation Odessan that is also raising his family here. He chose to run to create positive change in the community he feels he knows best. Hankins says he hears the concerns of residents regarding infrastructure, water, and public safety, and agrees that change is needed.
We need to have a plan when things arise, and we have not had plans, long-range plans in the county before, and so it's important that we focus on those things and make sure that we're ready when things change and we see growth and things like that.
Hankins' opponent, Jason Payne, was also born and raised in Odessa. Payne is a nurse practitioner with a medical practice opened in 2019. He values accountability and transparency, promising to be responsive to every corner of Precinct 2. Overall, Payne has a lot of energy and is looking for feedback from the community. First Alert 7 received a statement from Jason Payne reading in part, quote, "Our community deserves leadership that listens, works hard, and puts people before politics. I believe I have the stamina to work hard and bring the community's voice back to the Commissioner's Court." End quote. For voters, those who have already voted in the Republican or Democratic primary this year can only vote in that same party's runoff. If you did not vote in March, you can choose to vote in either party's runoff. Reporting for First Alert 7 News, I'm Sierra Burnett.
Meanwhile, also yesterday saw several memorial services in Midland honoring the men and women who gave their lives for our freedom. One was held at Rest Haven Memorial Park, honoring the life of Jerry P. Badger.
First Alert 7's Rachel Fortunato shows us how Badger helped open the door for women in the cockpit.
Couldn't think of a more better day to do a memorial service for her than on Memorial Day.
Before her death, Badger was one of the 2 still living women Air Force service pilots, known as WASPs. She became one of the only women to earn WASP wings and graduate from Avenger Field in Sweetwater, Texas. Today's ceremony included a speaker who spoke about her life, the firing of 3 rounds of blanks, a flyover, and the release of a dove to symbolize the earning of her wings. An American flag was also accepted on behalf of Badger's family in her honor. The Tall City American Legion Post 119 also held their annual memorial service today.
I would love people to just stop what they're doing, hold off on the vacations, hold off on the barbecue, come over here, remember our country, remember our men and women, you know, say a prayer for them, and then once this is done, then they can enjoy their life.
This service honors everyone who has lost their lives serving. The service includes the laying of 5 wreaths and a few guest speakers. This year, they invited a representative from the National WASP World War II Museum to be one of the speakers.
We did lose one of the last 2 WASP members this year, so we decided to bring them in, let them discuss what their significant importance was in World War II. But every year we try to have a different guest speaker.
She told the story of the creation and growth of the WASP program.
You know, we've had a lot of keynote speakers in the past, but we've never had a WASP keynote speaker, and I figured that they could tell the story, because even myself, living here all my life, I had never been to the museum until recently.
During World War II, over 1,000 WASPs helped fly military aircraft and paved the way for future female pilots. These female pilots flew military aircraft on homeland missions that were previously only flown by men.
Most of them don't really realize what these ladies went through, and I didn't realize it until more recently, you know, that they wasn't military, you know, they were civilians. They had to pay for a lot of their own stuff, so they did a lot.
Because of the classified nature of the program, these women didn't earn veteran status until 1977. In 2010, they received the Congressional Gold Medal. Today's events ended with lunch provided by the Odessa Chuck Wagon Gang.
Truly a touching service there. We do appreciate John Llewellyn for inviting First Alert 7 out to be a part of that service and cover that. And so that's a really wonderful thing that they put on, along with the Ride to Remember, as part of a lot going on for Memorial Day. But today we have a lot going on in the way of weather. Meteorologist Sarah McElroy is tracking the flooding outside. It's going to be an ongoing thing through the day. And I'll have your news headlines for today on this election day. Runoff elections are today as well. This Tuesday is turning out to be quite busy. You're no kidding about that. We will be back in about 30 seconds for our First Alert 7 news and weather update to update our TV viewers as well. So don't go anywhere. More Wake Up West Texas Extra continues right here.
From First Alert 7 News, this is a Wake Up West Texas news and weather update.
Time now is 7:26 on this Tuesday, election day for the runoffs here, but also a First Alert weather day. Meteorologist Sarah McElroy busy today keeping track of the flooding conditions outside.
Yeah, we are seeing flooding ongoing across many parts of the region this morning. Still dealing with some lightning, thunder here in Odessa. Should be seeing a little bit of a break in that rainfall for just a little bit before more activity off to the southwest this morning does push into the area. Our observed rainfall so far across the region ranging from 1/100th of an inch in Dryden to almost 2 inches at Odessa's airport. Already up to about 4/10 of an inch at Midland International Air and Spaceport. Temperatures sitting in the 50s, 60s, and 70s with those winds anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Actually 5 to 20 miles per hour, excuse me. We are seeing those gusts anywhere from about 20 to 35 miles per hour. And we are seeing those gusts kind of in Marfa and Alpine, where we do have some severe weather this morning. Also starting to rain there at the Petroleum Museum in Midland. As we head through the day, expect some more chances and threat for severe weather, some flooding as well. That activity should be out of the area overall by about 8 to 9 p.m. tonight, and we should see quiet conditions coming up tomorrow, at least for the most part. Scattered strong severe storms possible for those areas in yellow today where large hail, strong winds, and even a tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Isolated storms for those areas in dark green. Looking at that First Alert 7 10-day forecast, 74 today, so much cooler than we saw yesterday. A little bit drier, a little bit warmer Wednesday and Thursday ahead of some more active weather as we head into the weekend.
Sawyer, thank you. We'll begin with the local runoffs, which are today, Election Day. Polls opened about 30 minutes ago. We're following a race in Midland County where the race for county judge comes down to Jay Marquez and Karen Hood. But there's also the race for Midland County Commissioner Precinct 4 and Ector County Commissioner Precinct 2. We will have all of the latest results and reactions once polls close tonight at 7 p.m. Tune in to First Alert 7 News at 10 tonight. Turning back to yesterday, where hundreds of bikers gathered at the Permian Basin Vietnam Memorial yesterday in preparation for a long-standing tradition, the Ride to Remember. The machines were loud, but not as loud as the message itself. The trip is not a parade, it's an honor ride for Wild Bill himself, who organizes it. It's deeply personal.
My best friend was killed in Vietnam, along with some of my classmates that I went to school with at Robert E. Lee High School and Midland High School, and we ride for them.
The route runs from Midland to Odessa and then wraps up in Andrews. For the latest news and weather, log on anytime to firstalert7.com, and also be sure to join us over on Wake Up West Texas Extra, for streaming live right now on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, as well as our news app and website, firstalert7.com. Stay safe out there and turn around, don't drown.
From First Alert 7 News, with coverage of the Permian Basin, you're watching Wake Up West Texas Extra.
You sure are. Good morning to you. 7:32 on this Tuesday. It's Election Day runoffs right now. Polls have been open for half an hour, but it's going to be tough to get there. Yeah, if anybody can get to the polls, that's the thing. Is flash flood warnings across the Permian Basin, even into the mountains this morning, as rain begins to now move into Midland.
Yeah, you know, we've been kind of monitoring it on our iCams this morning, and well, it's taken a while to get to Midland, but here's a look from the Petroleum Museum towards I-20. Can't see I-20. Our visibility is reduced that much due to that rain, seeing lots of lightning as well. And if you can kind of see in the foreground there's a patch of like dirt and, well, it's mud. So we are starting to see that rainfall kind of puddling there on the ground as we start off our day. So just continuing to see that threat for flooding, severe weather. We do have actually 2 severe thunderstorm warnings across portions of the region this morning. So a lot going on as we start off our day. Please use caution on the roads. Turn around, don't drown. I would always stress that, you know, stay home if you can, because yes, we are dealing with ongoing flooding pretty much area-wide this morning. Area-wide this morning, so keep that in mind as we now take a look at our Facebook post that just got posted by the Odessa Police Department, warning drivers that it is going to be wet out there. They're saying use extreme caution if you must travel at 22nd and West County Road. If you're familiar with 22nd and West County Road, there is a large drain near 22nd and West County that is probably filled up. This is right across from San Jacinto Park, 87th and Andrews Highway. So let's think about where that is. That is on the north side of Andrews Highway. There's a Sonic there near the north of Schleiermacher. This is going to be by the Sonic there, the Sonic location. If you're familiar with this area, there's areas off to the side that flood quite a bit when the roadways are lifted up higher like that. Let's turn now to 26th and Beatty. This is closer to roughly downtown-ish around that portion of Odessa. 9th and Kelly, again in that part of the city where it floods. But I'm also thinking of the usual locations. 42nd and Dixie. I've seen pictures and video coming in of stranded drivers. Cars, yes.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, stranded drivers, people who have bottomed out there in the water at 42nd and Dixie, all the way up to Muskingum, Hancock. The usual locations in Odessa have been affected and will continue to be for quite some time. Odessa Police asking you to reduce your speed to a safe distance to the vehicle in front of you, because on top of the flooding threat, the roads are also going to be wet. That always poses a hydroplane hazard, of course, as you are going to be driving, especially over underpasses. We're thinking of the one on 2nd and Grant. That is an underpass that is going to be a problem today on Grandview and 2nd Street as well as you're going under the underpass. Those are going to be quite flooded as well. So keep that in mind as you get out on your commute this morning. Hopefully you can delay your commute a little bit longer as this rainfall continues to push through portions of the Permian Basin today. We're going to continue checking in with this situation with meteorologist Sawyer McRae for quite some time as you're monitoring it, keeping us posted. If anything does happen or change, we're going to bring it up right immediately, right then and there. We'll also get a check of the situation down into the mountainous regions as well. They're seeing their own bout of weather as well. Yeah, you know, it's kind of just a big line of thunderstorms this morning. Sorry, I keep looking off camera because our radar's pulled up over there. But even some severe weather already this morning. Quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts near Marfa and Alpine as they start off their day. Absolutely. In the meantime, though, let's talk about summertime. Let's think more about the drier, hotter season. If you're booking your summer trip, there's a sweet spot you need to know about when buying plane tickets. Consumer investigator Rachel DePompa explains how to spot the lowest fares in this Watching Your Wallet.
Several major airlines have announced price increases and hiked baggage fees because of soaring jet fuel costs, which is why we caught up with Joe Adamski, Managing Director of Procurability. We wanted to know if there were any steps you could take to find deals and cut down on travel costs this summer. He says the sweet spot for buying an airline ticket is 6 to 8 weeks prior to your flight.
That tends to be when the airlines have their lowest pricing for it. Anything prior to that, it's priced higher. People are planning well out in advance. They think they can get that. As you get a little bit closer, they have a better view of the demand for that particular flight, and so they're able to start increasing pricing based off of that in their dynamic models.
He says after you purchase your ticket, watch the airfare for that flight. There's a chance you could still cut down on future costs.
You do have the opportunity, if you make a purchase of a ticket at say $500. If you happen to look 2 weeks later and it's at $350, you can call the airline and ask for a credit. Not guaranteed that they will give it to you. They won't refund the cash either. They may give you a credit on their airline that you can use at a future date.
He says you could even try to use artificial intelligence to help you find cheap flights by training an AI tool to scrape the airlines for airfares on a regular basis to tell you when the price of a flight drops. With this watching your wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Let's turn now to Election Day right here in Texas. Like I talked about, voters are returning to the polls to pick the Republican candidate for the state's closely watched Senate race.
First Alert 7's Washington correspondent Stetson Miller has more on the runoff from Austin.
The final 12 weeks of this Republican Senate primary here in Texas have been a bitter battle between Senator John Cornyn and Attorney General Ken Paxton. And now voters will have to decide which candidate moves on to November. The Lone Star State is about to host a high-stakes runoff election between a longtime senator and the state's attorney general.
I'm eager for Election Day to get here so we can get the results.
John Cornyn and Ken Paxton are facing off again on Tuesday after neither candidate earned more than 50% of the votes in the primary in March.
All we have to do is show up and vote. Get our friends to show up and vote.
Since then, they've been polling closely together. That all changed last week when President Donald Trump made a last-minute endorsement of Paxton.
I believe the Texas candidate, who's Ken Paxton, I think he'll win.
Now experts say Senator Cornyn is facing an uphill election against Paxton.
This is about as big a blow as you can get. It would be a major shock to me if Cornyn were to win at this juncture.
Whichever candidate wins will face Democratic nominee James Tallarico in the general election. While the party hasn't been able to win a statewide race since 1994, a recent poll from Texas Southern University shows that Tallarico is nearly tied with both of the candidates, suggesting that the next race in the fall will be tough for the GOP.
Certainly that gives a lot of optimism if you look at those numbers in terms of what do they mean, what do they pretend for the Democratic Party.
And the polls are open on Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. In Austin, I'm Stetson Miller.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Today is a First Alert Weather Day due to ongoing flooding across portions of the region and the threat for severe weather and more flooding as we head through the day. I do want to show kind of what's going on across the region this morning. So that line that was kind of in Midland, Odessa area has now moved off to the east, pushing into Midland County. That does have a flash flood warning for portions of Glasscock, Martin, and Midland counties until 10:30 a.m. And then we also do have a flash flood warning for Andrews, Ector, and Midland County. That's still until about 8:30, but they did update the amount of rainfall that has fallen across the area, between 1 and 2 inches of rain, pretty much across this whole area that's highlighted there. As you can see, raining in Andrews, Seminole still this morning across portions of southeast New Mexico. A little bit of a break here in Odessa, still raining, but a lot lighter than it had been. And then we have a little bit of a break for Monahans, Caynosa, Pecos, possibly this morning before more rain does push into the area. We also do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings for the Alpine region. That continues until 7:45 for Brewster and Jeff Davis, like I mentioned, including Alpine for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And also one near the Elephant Mountain area, and that continues until 8 for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, along with a flash flood warning until 9:30 for portions of Jeff Davis and Presidio counties, kind of on the back end of that rain and those severe storms that moved through there. So a lot going on this morning as we do start off our day. And even starting to see some activity near the San Angelo area this morning, pushing into Big Spring as well, kind of that initial line of storms. Looking at our 24-hour observed rainfall so far today, look at this. Midland International Air and Spaceport up to ½ inch or even more than a ½ inch, about 1.71 at Odessa's airport, about 0.2 in Andrews, about 1/4 inch in Seminole, about 0.3 in Hobbs this morning. Alpine, 1.12 inches of rain. Temperatures starting off our day sitting in the 50s, 60s, and 70s with winds anywhere from about 5 to 20 miles per hour for those sustained winds, gusts anywhere from about 20 to 25 miles per hour. And you can see on our iCam looking towards I-20 in Midland from the Petroleum Museum, reduced visibility, raining heavily out there this morning. Through today, more activity is expected as we head into the afternoon and evening hours, and that is where we are going to see our severe weather threat. However, activity should be out of the area by late this evening and into early tonight. Looking at that severe weather threat, still scattered strong severe storms possible for those areas in yellow, isolated strong severe storms possible for those areas in dark green. Large hail, strong winds going to be the main threats with any severe storm that does form. However, a tornado or two cannot be ruled out as well. Looking at our First Alert 7 10-day forecast, we should see a little bit of a break in precipitation coming up Wednesday and Thursday before some more active weather Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday as well.
So look at this here. We're getting live video from Patsy Casas of Telemundo 20. This is going to be at University in Eisenhower in Odessa, giving you an idea of just how flooded this area is. This area here is near Hancock, near Tom Green, all those areas here. This is Eisenhower and East University. This is in the area of Odessa College, Chick-fil-A, right there on Andrews Highway.
There's
and you can see a fire
doing
truck
a
also.
rescue.
And also quite dangerous as these vehicles are pushing through the water, not knowing how deep the water is. We're trying to avoid this situation. The fire truck, of course, is possibly on standby for, a lot of crews, a lot of people out there having to deal with this high water situation. Oh, and I see a black car. I didn't see that. It's kind of far. So it looks like they're about to perform a high water rescue, presumably, in this location here. Again, this video coming live from Patsy Casas of Telemundo 20. It looks like maybe not. They're pushing on through. It's maybe a not safe situation the way it's set up there. We don't know the situation, what's going on here. I'd have to listen in and hear her and see what's going on. But in the meantime, this is East University in Eisenhower in Odessa. If you're familiar with this area, this is right behind New Tech Odessa. And this area here does flood quite a bit on days like this, where we see inches and inches of rainfall sitting over the same area. We're hoping no one gets stuck here, but we're keeping an eye on some of these traffic and the vehicles that are moving on through. And look how deep the water is. So we're going quite up to their rims.
Yes, even if you are in a high clearance vehicle, still, just because of how much rainfall we are seeing, the poor drainage in a lot of areas out here, still seeing, even more than those 2 inches of rain because of just kind of backing up, not being able to drain this morning. So, give yourself extra time if you are out on the roads. Please be safe. Turn around. Don't drown. We always say that. And look at how quickly that water is moving.
Truly, it's like rapids almost.
Yes, it looks like a river. Obviously, it is not, but definitely not safe to be out there this morning. Even those trucks, look at how high
and
the
still,
water is
it goes up
on
to the
those
door
tires.
almost.
Little concerned for that little car there going through.
It looks like someone did get stranded there. That blue car
stranded there. That black car has not moved as well, in the middle of the intersection there. So definitely. Oh,
that is our reporter for Telemundo 20, Kitsia Pena. She's out there alongside Patsy. Looks like they're kind of braving the water out there a little bit. Carefully monitoring, of course. They're up on, looks like, near concrete pillars. This right there, by the way, those yellow pillars, those diamonds.
Drainage ditch?
That's a drainage ditch, yes, right there on Eisenhower, if you're familiar with the area. But this water rapidly flowing downhill, and those downhill areas typically are the neighborhoods nearby. And just look at this. You can really get an idea of how deep that water is. And this is actually not even some of the lower locations across the city. We've seen, again, 42nd and Dixie.
One of the worst
spots because it's a very low-lying area. But so are some of the areas. If you go down south from this area here, you're able to see even further flooding, I imagine, on this Tuesday as we're dealing with these heavy rainfall situations. She has her umbrella there because it is continuing to at least drizzle here and there,
rain, yes.
Which doesn't help as this does continue to develop over the course of the morning hours. But again, this is live video coming from Telemundo 20's Patsy Casas out there live this morning at Eisenhower and East University, giving you an idea of why we don't want you to get out on the roads today. I know it's election day as well. If you can get to a polling location safely, try to, but maybe just wait. Polls are open till 7 p.m. It might be a good idea to wait till later.
Yeah, like I mentioned just 5 minutes ago, this activity hopefully should be out of the area. And I know it doesn't really help by like 8 p.m. tonight, but hopefully seeing some improvement at points through the day. So hopefully you can get out to those polls and vote.
Absolutely. Okay, well, that's the situation so far. We're going to keep an up-to-date view of Patsy's video as well. I'm kind of monitoring that. But also on Odessa Police saying for everyone to stay off the roads unless you really need to get out today. I know everyone's getting back to work after Memorial Day yesterday. Maybe you're out of town. That would be a good time to be out of town. Shalana reporting it is pouring in Midland now. We can actually go back to Router 4 ICAM briefly as we go to break and take a quick break. Well, this is over Midland where Sawyer has moved into the Tall City now.
Yeah, it took a while to get there. It's just kind of training over the same areas this morning, seeing that heavy rainfall. Let me see if I can zoom in really quick. Oh,
sure.
It never works on this thing, sorry.
Sawyer's going to try and control the ICAM a little bit. Give us a better idea of what we're looking at. This is, by the way, behind on the back side of the Petroleum Museum off of Interstate 20. This is facing Highway 349 and Rankin Highway in the distance there, just to give you an idea of where we're looking. Facing towards the east-southeast
And
this
still
morning.
seeing some lightning out there. Just saw a flash there on our.
Yep,
there
we
you
can
go.
definitely see it. Definitely flashing out there. One of the many lightning bolts we have seen. We've had power flashes even here at the station. We've seen our power flicker. Sawyer's getting us a closer look at the interstate conditions outside this morning as folks are on their commutes today.
Zoom in of the interstate. Traffic moving along nicely.
It's okay,
however,
yeah.
A little bit slower than usual. But yes, still dealing with heavy rainfall across Midland now into Martin County, Glasscock County. We do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. Excuse me. There's so much going on.
There's
this
a lot
morning.
going on. We still have severe thunderstorms, you said.
Yeah,
okay.
severe thunderstorms for kind of rolling out of Alpine, that Marfa area as well. So
Okay.
Actually, here,
So far down south, actually, quite a bit.
let me bring that up.
Can you bring up Max 1 just so I can see what she's talking about here? Let me see this area down south. I see what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, kind of rolling out of Alpine, the Marathon area.
So just pushed through the city of Alpine. Probably got quite a bit of storms there. I see the warning. Okay, I see.
Still 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail.
Okay.
So not the strongest severe thunderstorm we've ever seen, but still dealing with that torrential rainfall. You know, you can see those heavy reds there this morning. And then also that line kind of extending to Rankin, McCamey, Midland, Stanton, Lenora, and then also some rain across portions of Andrews. Seminole really gains in Andrews County. Seeing rain everywhere this morning.
Sure, yeah.
Hopefully a little bit of a break here in Odessa, maybe still sprinkling, lightly raining, but there is more activity off to our west, as you can see, kind of rolling into Pecos now there. And that is kind of where our severe weather threat is going to exist as we head through the morning and into the afternoon.
Now I'm starting to see this organize a bit more to the southeast of us, southwest, excuse me, southwest of us. Is that the second line that is going to be moving into Midland, Odessa later?
That is going to be the
Or part of
potential
it.
for our severe weather, yes.
Okay,
So,
okay.
you know, still slow moving. You know, I would guess maybe hitting here between about 10 and noon again for that line, at least, you know, kind of the end of that line.
Mhm.
And that is where our severe weather threat is going to exist.
Okay, wonderful. And by the way, if you have any questions that you want us to answer, we are here for you. So please let us know in the Facebook comments below. We're going to be monitoring the situation so closely over the coming hours, all the way through First Alert 7 News at noon. Sawyer and I will be there giving you the latest information and updates as we get it on this day. I'm watching Patsy's Facebook Live as well. A lot of people reporting cars stuck on Dixie. Not a surprise because I have seen videos of that happening. So we're going to check in a little bit later. Sawyer and I are going to take a quick break, and we're going to continue monitoring the situation. If anything changes or updates, we will be the first to tell you right here on First Alert 7. Stay with us. Good to have you here with us on Wake Up West Texas Extra on this Tuesday, a very busy Tuesday in the way of news and weather, no doubt about that. You probably got woken up by lots of rumbles of thunder this morning. They were quite loud. We can even hear them in here. And we're in kind of a layered building inside the mall. And
yeah,
still.
Definitely hearing, I haven't heard it for a while, but had been hearing thunder, seeing lightning, lost power for a little bit here. We've been kind of monitoring the power outages across the area. So here's a look at that from the Encore Storm Center outage map. Lots and lots of outages across Midland and Odessa.
For sure.
What are the numbers up to, Matthew?
Currently in Midland, we are now adding to the board because the storm is now pushing in through. And of course, with all the lightning, one bolt will take out some power. And so we're at 364 customers without power in Midland. Restoration time is showing 10 a.m. It's going to depend on a lot of different situations. And we have another round coming in later, so it could affect that. Over in the western portion of Odessa, west-north side of Odessa, including West Odessa, over 1,000 customers, 1,053. It's showing with a 1 p.m. restoration time. You remember, sorry, it was 11, then 11:30, now 1.
Wow.
They're trying to get to it because there's so many, but it's going to be a while. We're also seeing, as you can see on the map, sporadic outages across other parts of the Permian Basin as well today. So power outages on top of flooding concerns, all of that going on this Tuesday. But also a reminder, polls are now open for election day runoff. It's kind of turned into the other story we're following today.
Yes.
We're now an hour into voting, but luckily you have until 7 p.m., well past when a lot of these storms should have moved through the area. We'll have to wait and see, but there should be pockets for you to at least get in there, do a quick, cast your ballot real quickly, and get home safely. That's the most important thing we want to talk about. Take us with you wherever you go. Download our app on your connected TV, phone, or tablet. Sawyer and I are going to take a quick break, come back here in just a moment as we take a live look outside over Midland, where you can see it is definitely wet out there now.
Yeah, definitely seeing those wet roads there on I-20, still seeing some lightning as well, but even possibly some sunshine out there.
Possibly some sunshine, hopefully. Than
we've been seeing,
so. We need a silver lining after this busy Tuesday morning. Sawyer and I will be back in 30 seconds with the First Alert 7 news and weather update for our TV viewers on First Alert 7. We'll be right back.
From First Alert 7 News, this is a Wake Up West Texas news and weather update.
It's also a First Alert weather day on this Tuesday. Meteorologist Sawyer McRae has been busy tracking all of the storms outside across the Permian Basin and into the mountainous regions. Sawyer, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Matthew. Happy Tuesday. It is a First Alert weather day due to that threat of severe weather and flooding as well. We are seeing mostly flooding as we start off our day, but severe weather starting across portions of the region as well. And here's a look at that live radar where you can see that line in the Midland area now. Still raining here in Odessa. Flash flood warning for Odessa continues until 8:30. Flash flood warning for Midland County, that continues through later this morning as well. And then here's our severe thunderstorm warnings. We did just have this one issued for the Marathon area, and that continues until 8:30 for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. Observed rainfall across the region so far anywhere from about 1/100th of an inch to over 2 inches in spots. Temperatures currently sitting in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, 63 in Midland, 61 here in Odessa, with those winds anywhere from about 5 to 20 miles per hour. And these are sustained winds, so gusts even higher than that, gusts anywhere from about 20 to 30 miles per hour. More rain, thunderstorms, and the potential for severe weather possible as we head through today. Should roll out of the area by about 6 p.m. this evening, and then overall quiet conditions tonight. Looking at our severe weather threat, we have seen that kind of area decreasing slightly, but still Midland, Odessa included in that scattered severe threat as we head through today. Looking at that First Alert 7 10-day forecast, 74 today, so much cooler, a little bit warmer and drier coming up Wednesday and Thursday before some more active weather as we head into the weekend.
Sawyer, thank you very much. Let's talk now Memorial Day, where yesterday saw 2 separate memorial services in Midland honoring veterans and the legacy they leave behind. At Rest Haven Memorial Park, Llewellyn Garcia Pipkin Funeral Home held a ceremony for Jerry P. Badger. Badger died January 17th at 104 years old. She was one of the last surviving women Air Force service pilots, better known as the WASPs. Meanwhile, the Tell City American Legion Post 119 held its annual memorial service honoring those who died in service to this country. This year, one of the guest speakers was a representative from the National WASP World War II Museum.
We did lose one of the last two WASP members this year, so we decided to bring them in, let them discuss what their significant importance was in World War II. But every year we try to have a different guest speaker.
Now, the keynote speaker told the story of the creation and growth of the WASP program. During World War II, over 1,000 WASPs helped fly military aircraft and pave the way for future female pilots just like that Midlander. For the latest news and weather, log on to FirstAlert7.com. Join us over on Wake Up West Texas Extra, streaming live right now on the First Alert 7 News app and website, FirstAlert7.com. We'll have the latest on this weather situation. Make it a great day.
From First Alert 7 News, with coverage of the Permian Basin, you're watching Wake Up West Texas Extra.
8:02 now on this Tuesday, a First Alert weather day. We've been watching very closely the situation unfold across the Permian Basin with showers and thunderstorms forming much earlier overnight, early tonight, about 3 in the morning. They started across the portions of the Trans-Pecos, making their way slowly up the I-20 corridor from Pecos up to Ward County and Monahans, and now Odessa sat over there for, what, 2 hours at least?
Really didn't budge throughout all of Wake Up West Texas. I mean, it started just a little bit after 5 and continued throughout the rest of the show. So, you know, really did not move, and we do have a flash flood warning continues until 8:30 for Odessa for Ector County due to that flash flooding, possibly going to be extended just because of it's still raining out here lightly, but it's still raining, and that flooding really hasn't receded at all.
Absolutely. So again, we want to remind you that along with all of the flooding, there are also power outages. As we take a look at your Encore Storm Center outage map out there, where there are sporadic outages across Midland and Odessa this morning. About over 1,000 customers without power in Odessa right now. The restoration time has now been pushed to about 11 to noon. It's going to really vary and depend on the ongoing situation for the linemen who have to get out there and make the repairs. But across Midland now, as this storm does push past the Tall City and into the Tall City, I should say, we're starting to see outages now build up in that part of the city. It was 364 in Midland proper, in the city of Midland, 364 customers. Restoration time is showing at about a 10 a.m. time frame. I'm seeing this green dot here indicating a larger outage. This is going to be, it's hard to tell on this map here. It looks towards Martin County, if not in Martin County, about to the northeast of Stanton, south of Windwalker Farms, if you're familiar with that area. 94 customers, likely to be a lot of oil-filled homes and a lot of homes on the outskirts of town. Outage was just reported at 7:49. Power restoration possibly 11 a.m. So
wow,
it's a fluid situation across the area with these power outages. It's not the only location. If we go south here, in the service area of Encore, we started seeing some sporadic outages from earlier across portions of Cayenosa, Reeves County, Ward County, and Crane County with a lot of these outages this morning. We're going to continue following those outages as they continue to develop, and likely they will as this system does make its way off to the north and northeast. As we now take a live look outside this morning over the skies of Andrews out there, where they've got in on the rainfall too.
Yeah, going to kind of take a closer look at this iCam. So, you can see that kind of flooding on the edge of the road there. We've seen issues before when they've gotten 2 inches of rain with that little pond over in the distance.
Yes, Lakeside Park.
Not looking bad right now, but it is raining steadily there. They do not have a flash flood warning. I think I just lied. I'm sorry. Let me look. They had not had one. Yes, one was just issued, actually. So that is for... okay. Yeah, you can take the radar. Thank you. There we go. That is for Andrews and Seminole, or Gaines County, including Seminole. And that continues, let's see, until 11 a.m. So that was just issued. Radar indicated, but some very heavy pockets of rainfall still there this morning, denoted by those yellows, those reds. Then Odessa is still until about 8:30, but then also one for Midland, and that's until 10:30. That includes Glasscock, Martin, and Midland County, and that's also radar indicated. Then we do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, so not just dealing with flooding this morning, but also some severe weather. This is about 3/4 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for Brewster, Jeff Davis, and Pecos County until 8:15. And then also a severe thunderstorm warning for the Marathon area, and that has 1/4 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that is until 8:30. And as you can see, still some heavy rainfall with those yellows and reds coming out of that. We are seeing a little bit of a lull here in Odessa, still raining lightly, but, kind of Kermit, Wink, Monahans should be dry. However, more rain off to the west. See if I can find my little pointer. There we go. More rain off to the west there, and heavy pockets of rainfall. So we are not yet done. Multiple rounds today, and we do have the threat for severe weather. And I'll pull up a severe weather outlook and talk about that really quickly. We do have the threat for scattered strong severe storms possible for those areas in yellow, still kind of including portions of Midland County and Ector County, even though kind of our area has shrunk due to the ongoing activity this morning. Isolated strong severe storms possible for those areas in dark green. Large hail, strong winds still going to be the main threats with any severe storm that does form. Hail up to 2 inches in diameter will be possible, but also a tornado or two cannot be ruled out as well, especially as we get towards this evening. However, flooding, especially now, is our biggest threat, and that flood threat does continue throughout the rest of today. So that is something to keep in mind this morning. The good news is we should be drying things out over the next couple of days and warming things up just a little bit back into the 80s, because today is going to remain on the cool side, especially for the Midland Odessa area under all this rainfall, cloud cover, but then some more active and rainy weather is in the forecast by this weekend.
Okay, I want to go back to the iCam now. Router 4, if we can show that real quick. I zoomed in the camera a little bit more, Sawyer. This is down Northwest 6th Street, in case you're familiar with Andrews there, towards Lakeside Park. If you look really closely in the background, there's that red truck, And just by that red truck in the background, there's that tree.
Come up a little bit.
You can kind of see that tree is almost touching the water. The branches are. And that tree is in the middle of the Lakeside Park, if you're familiar with it. There's a tree right in the middle of the park in the water.
Oh.
That water has come up to about the branches now, so it's beginning to fill up the pond quite a bit. It's still not up into the road that I can tell. There was a vehicle that crossed there on, what street is that there? Northwest Avenue B.
Okay.
So it does appear that that road is still fine, still passable, because we've seen it where the water comes all the way up.
Yeah, it's been closed. The water comes all the way up.
It's not to that point yet.
Yeah.
So we're still working with okay conditions in Andrews. For now, that could change if any more rain falls. We're already seeing the water levels in Lakeside Park rise quite a bit. I just went to Lakeside Park last week or so when I went to Lubbock last Monday it was, and it was quite low, the levels that time. So started off quite low. It does not look like it's going to stay that way with these rainy conditions that we're seeing across the area. Zooming out just to give you an idea of where we are. This is right across from the Veterans Memorial, right there on 6th and Broadway. This is looking, of course, towards Lakeside Park.
Stark contrast to what we were saying yesterday.
True.
With the Memorial Day event that happened there, the ride of remembrance, but definitely a stark contrast this morning as we are starting off the day.
For sure, as we look over Midland as well across the area, it's just going to be one of those days where there's a lot going on in the way of weather. It's going to be just kind of off and on, especially today in news because we also have, of course, primary election day as well. But luckily, the interstate looking a-okay. Things are moving along nicely, and everyone's kind of taking their time, which is always good to see.
A little slower than normal, but definitely what you need to do this morning. Give yourself extra time to get to your destination safely. Turn around, don't drown, like we always say. Please don't drive through flooded roadways. I know, it's a little hard to kind of avoid them in some spots of town, but just use your best judgment and be careful.
All right, well, let's turn now to a look at your morning extra today. Headlines you need to know on this Tuesday, May 26th. We'll begin talking political news where there's one seat left to fill in Ector County. That will be decided after the primary election runoff today. Like I said, polls have been open for about an hour, a little over an hour now. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. is the time span you can go to vote. Lifelong Odessans, Grayson Hankins and Jason Payne, are running to be your Ector County Commissioner in Precinct 2.
First Alert 7 Sierra Burnett tells us about their respective campaigns and how they plan to change Precinct 2 for the better.
Starting with Grayson Hankins, he's a third-generation Odessan that is also raising his family here. He chose to run to create positive change in the community he feels he knows best. Hankins says he hears the concerns of residents regarding infrastructure, water, and public safety, and agrees that change is needed.
We need to have a plan when things arise, and we have not had plans, long-range plans in the county before, and so it's important that we focus on those things and make sure that we're ready when things change and we see growth and things like that.
Hankins' opponent, Jason Payne, was also born and raised in Odessa. Payne is a nurse practitioner with a medical practice opened in 2019. He values accountability and transparency, promising to be responsive to every corner of Precinct 2. Overall, Payne has a lot of energy and is looking for feedback from the community. First Alert 7 received a statement from Jason Payne reading in part, quote, "Our community deserves leadership that listens, works hard, and puts people before politics. I believe I have the stamina to work hard and bring the community's voice back to the Commissioner's Court." End quote. For voters, those who have already voted in the Republican or Democratic primary this year can only vote in that same party's runoff. If you did not vote in March, you can choose to vote in either party's runoff. Reporting for First Alert 7 News, I'm Sierra Burnett.
And of course, that's not the only race we're covering across the Permian Basin. Some other local runoffs we are following in Midland County. Well, of course, the race for county judge coming down to Jane Marquez and Karen Hood. But there's also the race for Midland County Commissioner Precinct 4 and Ector County Commissioner Precinct 2. Be sure to catch our coverage later today on First Alert 7 throughout the evening, but also especially after polls close at 7 p.m. You'll want to tune into First Alert 7 News at 10 for the latest results and reactions from the campaigns as they wrap up another election runoff. And of course, the candidates, by the way, who, to clarify, who passed this runoff election and take more than 50% of the vote will be moving on to face off the other candidates in the race for November, which will be the actual elections themselves. And of course, if they run unopposed, as in the case of the Midland County judge, then that will now become the presumptive Midland County judge, just to clarify how that works with today's runoff elections. Let's turn the clock back now to Memorial Day, Sawyer.
Hundreds of bikers gathered at the Permian Basin Vietnam Memorial yesterday morning in preparation for a long-standing Memorial Day tradition.
First Alert 7's Luke Johnson has the sights and sounds from the 27th annual Wild Bill's Ride to Remember.
Now, the machines out here are loud, but not as loud as the message. Riding for everyone who couldn't be here today.
Memorial Day is a time to pause, reflect, and honor brave men and women who gave their lives for our freedom. The trip is not a parade, it's an honor ride. And for Wild Bill himself, it's deeply personal.
My best friend was killed in Vietnam, along with some of my classmates that I went to school with at Robert E. Lee High School and Midland High School, and we ride for them.
The route runs from Midland to Odessa, then wrapping up north in Andrews. Our iCam in Andrews caught bikers filing into the Veteran Memorial. They were then treated to a free barbecue lunch hosted by the Andrews community. For First Alert 7 News, I'm Luke Johnson.
Think you've got the voice to make history? Be part of celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States. Here's how to enter. Record a video of you singing the national anthem, a solo a cappella performance. Go to firstalert7.com and click on the contest tab and upload your video. One lucky person will win an all-expenses-paid trip to Nashville to sing and record a performance of the national anthem that will air all across the United States. Go to firstalert7.com/contest to enter.
While you're there, sign Dad up for this First Alert 7 Father's Day contest. Your dad could win over $250 worth of fantastic prizes, courtesy of these fine sponsors: Ron Hoover RV and Marine, Texas Plumbing, Basin Safety Services, and Midland Meat Company. To enter, go to firstalert7.com/contest. Like we said, the winner will be announced on June 17th during First Alert 7 News at 4.
And win a spectacular summer shopping spree courtesy of Music City Mall and First Alert 7. Go to contest at firstalert7.com, enter your name or name your favorite place in the mall, and be one of 2 people to win a $250 gift card. You have until June 15th to enter.
You can also put your landscaping skills on display, especially today. They're getting some good rainfall out there for sure. That's going to be helpful. It'll be for the Agave Garden Show Us Your Yard contest. Submit a photo of your yard to firstalert7.com/contest, and you can win a $200 gift card and a brand new barbecue pit to put on that yard. But get this, tomorrow is the last day to enter, so do it now. Everyone will vote on their favorite after that. The winner will be announced on First Alert 7 News at 6 on June 12th.
And you know a West Texas teacher who goes above and beyond? You can nominate them for HEB's Excellent Educators. Go to contest at firstalert7.com. The winning educator gets a $200 Visa gift card and a $50 HEB gift card if they win.
That's right, and that was your morning extra for this Tuesday.
You can find all of the latest news, weather, and sports by logging on to firstalert7.com, our mobile news app, or by following the First Alert 7 Facebook page.
Well, it's 8:15 while we take another live look outside on this First Alert weather day. As Midland, we actually got some visibility back there. Excuse me, this morning. Sorry, my throat's a little dry.
We've been talking a lot.
We've been talking a little bit. That's right. It's a little bit busy this morning as Interstate 20 is nicely moving along. Thank goodness it's looking nice out there. Much better as that storm does begin to push out of the area slowly but surely. But don't get too comfortable because Stanton, you're under the gun next.
Yes,
it's heading towards
Big Spring.
Stanton and Big Spring as well. So they're heading that direction down Interstate 20. That's Pecos and now Big Spring out there. But get ready for it. It is coming your way. There are currently flash flood warnings for Midland County and Odessa. Both Midland and Odessa under flash flood warnings. Odessa's under a considerable flash flood warning still. And that's because of that storm that sat over the area for quite some time today. Keep that in mind on your commute this morning if you're going to get out and about. Big Spring is heading your direction. Stanton as well. It's already starting to rain there in Stanton this morning. So we'll have a look at your forecast coming up, but also your news headlines and a reminder to take us with you wherever you go. Watch us on your connected TV, phone, or tablet. Wake Up West Texas Extra continues in just a moment.
This is a First Alert 7 weather day. Now an update from meteorologist Sawyer McElroy.
Good morning and happy Tuesday, everybody. Here's a look at that live radar as we do continue to see flooding, flash flooding, thunderstorms, severe weather across portions of the region. Still seeing that that flash flood warning for portions of Andrews, Ector, and Midland County till 8:30 a.m. for Odessa, and then also still seeing that activity in Midland. I do believe a flash flood warning was just issued for portions of, Midland, Reagan, and Upton County. That continues until 11:15. Then also we do have this flash flood warning for the Glasscock, Martin, and Midland counties until 10:30 due to that ongoing rain. We also do have a flash flood warning across portions of the northern Permian Basin. That continues until 11 as we start off our day. And then also a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. So we do have this severe thunderstorm warning kind of for this line just to the south of Fort Stockton. I'm assuming this does include Fort Stockton till 9 a.m. for Brewster and Pecos. For 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So really just dealing with those strong winds this morning, but also some heavy rain. Here's a look at our observed rainfall so far today. Anywhere from 1/100th of an inch to up to 2 and possibly 3 inches of rainfall. Temperatures sitting in the 50s, 60s, and 70s with winds anywhere from about 5 to 20 miles per hour. Still gloomy this morning here in Odessa, still cloudy, but we are seeing a little bit of a lull in precipitation ahead of more precipitation heading into the afternoon and evening hours. And that is where we are going to see our severe weather threat for today. There's that severe weather outlook, scattered strong severe storms possible for those areas in yellow, including Midland. Still kind of Odessa is right on the cusp of that scattered threat to isolated threat. Large hail, strong winds, the main threats with any severe storm that does form. However, a tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Looking at that First Alert 7 10-day forecast, we are going to see temperatures overall much cooler today. Obviously behind that rainfall, that cloud cover, but then we are going to see things drying out and warming up over the next couple of days ahead of some more active weather as we head into the weekend.
Okay, well, this forecast is looking interesting after today. This wet, active pattern does look to continue with temperatures below average, so we're definitely in an odd pattern for West Texas standards for
Heading
sure.
to June.
Heading into June at that, yeah, no kidding about that. Cool and wet and not dry for this time of the year, so very unusual, but we'll add to the rain bucket. But again, your safety is very important, so please be careful out there as those flash flood warnings remain in effect for quite some time this morning.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back in about 3 minutes with a news and weather update for our TV viewers on First Alert 7. Keep it here.
From First Alert 7 News, this is a Wake Up West Texas news and weather update.
Good morning, everyone. Time now is 8:25 on this first alert weather day. Meteorologist Sawyer McRoy has been keeping track of the flooding conditions across Midland, Odessa, and a lot of the Permian Basin today. Sawyer, what are we seeing now?
Yeah, very active weather this morning as we do start off this election day as well. Here's a look at that live radar this morning where we do have multiple flash flood warnings in effect, but also a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings for those southern portions of the region. Flash flood warnings in effect for Midland, Odessa, the Rankin area, but also that severe thunderstorm warning just to the south of Fort Stockton, and that does continue until, let us see, I believe 9, for that severe thunderstorm warning, and that is mostly for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Here's a look at our observed rainfall so far today, anywhere from about 1/100th of an inch to over 2 inches of rain across portions of the region. Temperatures sitting with 50s, 60s, and 70s with winds anywhere from about 5 to 20 miles per hour. Looking outside over the skies of Fort Stockton this morning, you can see those dark clouds and even potentially rain off in the distance. Those gusts up to about 25 miles per hour. Currently, more active weather and flooding is possible as we head through the day with the potential for severe weather. Severe weather outlook, scattered strong severe storms possible for those areas in yellow, isolated strong severe storms possible for those areas in dark green, large hail, strong winds, and even a tornado or two cannot be ruled out as we head through today. Looking at that first alert 7-10-day forecast, we are luckily going to dry things out a little bit as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, along with warming temperatures back into the 80s. Still below normal for this time of year, but a little bit warmer than today. Ahead of some more active weather as we head into the weekend.
Sorry, thank you. Political news now. We are following the runoff election set for today. Polls have been open for about an hour and a half now. We're following the race for county judge in Midland between Joe Marquez and Karen Hood, but also other commissioner races in Midland County and Ector County, and among the other Permian Basin races and across Texas. You can find all the latest coverage on FirstAlert7.com, our mobile news app, and tonight on First Alert 7 News at 10. Meanwhile, yesterday's Memorial Day ceremony saw 2 separate memorial services in Midland honoring veterans and the legacy they leave behind. At Rest Haven Memorial Park at Llewellyn Garcia Pipkin Funeral Home, they held a ceremony for Jerry P. Badger. Badger died in January at age 104. She was one of the last surviving women Air Force pilots, better known as WASPs from World War II. The tribute included a 3-volley salute and flyover and the release of doves symbolizing the wings she earned. Meanwhile, Tall City American Legion Post 119 held an annual service there who died in service to the country, honoring those who died. This year, one of the guest speakers was a representative from the National WASP World War II Museum.
We did lose one of the last 2 WASP members this year, so we decided to bring them in, let them discuss what their significant importance was in World War II. But every year we try to have a different guest speaker.
The keynote speaker told the story of the creation and growth of the WASP program. During World War II, over 1,000 WASPs helped fly military aircraft during the war. Hundreds of bikers gathered for the Ride to Remember yesterday. The machines were loud, but the message was louder, riding for everyone who couldn't be there. The trip is not a parade, though. It's deeply personal to the organizer.
My best friend was killed in Vietnam, along with some of my classmates that I went to school with at Robert E. Lee High School, Midland High School. We ride for them.
The route runs from Midland to Odessa, then wraps up in North Andrews. Our ICAM in Andrews actually caught the bikers filing into the Veteran Memorial there. They were treated to free lunch, of course, hosted by the Andrews community. And we'll be back in half an hour for another check of your news and weather on this First Alert Weather Day. Be safe. Make it a great day.
From First Alert 7 News, with coverage of the Permian Basin, you're watching Wake Up West Texas Extra.
Good morning, everyone. Good to have you with us. 8:32 on this Tuesday, a First Alert weather day. We have been keeping a close eye on the conditions outside today. It has been a very busy one for sure, as shower and thunderstorm activity continues to move from Midland, Odessa, now up the Interstate 20 corridor, heading towards Stanton. Big Spring going to be under the gun soon, but also Pecos and a lot of the portions of Fort Stockton as well. Coming into another round. More is on the way. So we'll get to that in just a moment as we take a live look outside over the skies this morning of Fort Stockton. We're seeing that storm move from the south to the, well, I should say from the west to the east.
Yes. That is
morning.
rain.
Rainfall, straight up rainfall, sheet of rain.
That is a sheet of rain off in the distance. Haven't really seen much lightning off of this ICAM though, which is very interesting.
So some showers
this
currently.
morning,
Okay.
but they actually do have a severe thunderstorm warning because of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So less than a quarter of an inch hail. I think it's about 3/4 of an inch hail, but mostly dealing with those strong winds this morning for those areas.
Okay, so got to keep that in mind this morning as you're making your way to wherever it is this morning. As we look at the Storm Center Encore outage map this morning, outages are really becoming sporadic. So we're across Midland and Odessa this morning. Even south of the I-20 corridor, we're starting to see them spread out towards portions of Monahans, Ward County, Crane County. But by and large, a lot of the outages, if we zoom out even further, it'll give me a good total of what we're looking at across the area.
Wow.
Roughly about 1,500 between a good portion of Midland and Odessa without power this morning. So quite a lot of people. And of course, estimated restoration is going to vary widely between where you are. So make sure you report your outages as soon as they happen. That way linemen can get them lined up, if you will, as they get out there and start to address each and every outage this morning. So keep that in mind as you start your day. Turn around, don't drown. If you don't know the depth of the water, do not attempt to travel, especially in the areas where we're used to the low crossings, 42nd and Dixie. I saw Eisenhower University a little bit ago with Patsy Casas out there. The water extremely high, moving really quickly. They say only a few inches of water can move an entire vehicle, so it's all very important to keep that in mind this morning. As you start your day on this Tuesday, starting the week as well after Memorial Day, a holiday yesterday, what a busy one it has turned out to be, along with elections today as well.
Yes.
Polls have been open for about an hour and a half now as well, so maybe consider going after the storm systems have passed through.
Maybe actually right now in
the
Odessa
lull?
because we do have a little bit of a lull and
Okay.
then more showers, thunderstorms expected later today. So kind of get it in now as we're seeing a little bit of a break.
Just be careful out there. All right, well, let's turn now to hot, dry summer months.
We'll envision it right now.
Yes, we'll envision that it's hot and dry outside. Summer months, you're planning to book a trip. Well, there's a sweet spot that you really need to know about when booking plane tickets.
Consumer investigator Rachel DePompa explains how to spot the lowest fares in this Watching Your Wallet.
Several major airlines have announced price increases and hiked baggage fees because of soaring jet fuel costs, which is why we caught up with Joe Adamski, Managing Director of Procurability. We wanted to know if there were any steps you could take to find deals and cut down on travel costs this summer. He says the sweet spot for buying an airline ticket is 6 to 8 weeks prior to your flight.
That tends to be when the airlines have their lowest pricing for it. Anything prior to that, it's priced higher. They're just, people are planning well out in advance. They think they can get that. As you get a little bit closer, they have a better view of the demand for that particular flight, and so they're able to start increasing pricing based off of that in their dynamic models.
He says after you purchase your ticket, watch the airfare for that flight. There's a chance you could still cut down on future costs.
You do have the opportunity, if you make a purchase of a ticket at, say, $500, if you happen to look 2 weeks later and it's at $350, you can call the airline and ask for a credit. Not guaranteed that they will give it to you. They won't refund the cash either. They may give you a credit on their airline that you can use at a future date.
He says you could even try to use artificial intelligence to help you find cheap flights by training an AI tool to scrape the airlines for airfares on a regular basis to tell you when the price of a flight drops. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Like I mentioned earlier, it is Election Day in Texas for the runoff elections. Voters are returning to the polls to pick the Republican candidate for the state's closely watched Senate race.
First Alert 7's Washington correspondent Stetson Miller has more on the runoff from Austin.
The final 12 weeks of this Republican Senate primary here in Texas have been a bitter battle between Senator John Cornyn and Attorney General Ken Paxton. And now voters will have to decide which candidate moves on to November. The Lone Star State is about to host a high-stakes runoff election between a longtime senator and the state's attorney general.
I'm eager for Election Day to get here so we can get the results.
John Cornyn and Ken Paxton are facing off again on Tuesday after neither candidate earned more than 50% of the votes in the primary in March.
All we have to do is show up and vote. Get our friends to show up and vote.
Since then, they've been polling closely together. But that all changed last week when President Donald Trump made a last-minute endorsement of Paxton.
And I believe the Texas candidate, who's Ken Paxton, I think he'll win.
Now experts say Senator Cornyn is facing an uphill election against Paxton.
This is about as big a blow as you can get. It would be a major shock to me if Cornyn were to win at this juncture.
Whichever candidate wins will face Democratic nominee James Tallarico in the general election. While the party hasn't been able to win a statewide race since 1994, a recent poll from Texas Southern University shows that Tallarico is nearly tied with both of the candidates, suggesting that the next race in the fall will be tough for the GOP.
Certainly that gives a lot of optimism if you look at those numbers in terms of what they mean, what do they pretend for the Democratic Party.
And the polls are open on Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. In Austin, I'm Stetson Miller.
Certainly going to be a big race out there for Republican senator side of things with the old AG and, of course, the current incumbent senator. Again, we will have the latest results and reactions tonight on First Alert 7 News at 10. We have the latest results coming in from the Associated Press and also our results right here at home. We're going to be following each and every one of them tonight, so you will not want to miss it. In the meantime, we're talking about veterans. We're so many of them as first responders. The battle does not end when the uniform comes off. Now, a program in Louisiana is using horses to help people heal from PTSD, rebuild trust, and reconnect with their communities.
Local News Live's Lauren McCoy shows us how these therapy horses are changing lives one step at a time.
There we go. Good boy.
A nuzzle, a nudge, or a quiet moment. Horses like Pete, KC, and Clifford are doing more than you think.
This program saved my life. Thank you for your kisses. Thank you.
For Coast Guard veteran Juliette LeBlanc, who says she struggles with PTSD, these horses were the key to her healing.
I was dealing with a lot of grief after losing my mother suddenly and getting out of an abusive marriage and felt very stuck. Didn't know how to get out of what I was feeling and the depression I was experiencing and the not so nice thoughts I was having toward myself.
LeBlanc says she learned about the program through Veterans Affairs.
Lift up the cavaletti so it's going to be a higher.
Program Director Vicki Island says word of mouth is how most veterans find their way to New Heights Therapy Center, tucked away in Folsom.
We saw challenges with PTSD, being able to come back into the community after service. So we saw that need and developed a program to help them build resilience and connect with other veterans.
New Heights is an equine-assisted therapy center, the only one of its kind in Louisiana. Island says the program serves 25 veterans a year. They don't ride the horses, but participants groom and lead them, building trust, reducing stress, and regulating emotions one session at a time. Thanks to the Oscar J. Thomas Charitable Trust, it's free.
I walked up and Pete was my horse. And I walked up to Pete and put my hands on him and started crying, and he rested his nose right on my chest. And I just felt so much peace and love wash over me in that moment that I knew I was in the right place.
The nonprofit has been serving veterans since 1998. And just over a month ago, it expanded its mission, opening its doors to first responders.
Everything that is an outside world is gone in my head. I do what I do here with them, and then I go back to my normal day-to-day.
Adam Shields, a fire prevention captain with St. Tammany Fire District 5, says it helps him reset, learning how to groom, how to connect, how to care for an animal without saying a word.
The horses do read us. And I can tell you, when I first started here, coming to the program, I was very anxious. I'm not familiar with horses, but I'm much better now, and it has been a true peace.
First responders are always there to help others, so it's nice that we have a place that we can go help ourselves.
For Folsom Police Officer Patrick Fair, it took 4 weeks to get comfortable with the horses. And now he's built a relationship with Pete.
I actually like me and Pete going for a stroll, so it's really nice and relaxing.
Horses are prey animals, and they are wired to read emotions. So we use that with the Veterans Program and first responders to be able to help the first responders and veterans connect.
Even though LeBlanc graduated from the program, she still shows up to volunteer.
If you're struggling in any way, just call. I mean, this place is, like I said, so caring and loving and open, and the mission, it's not money here, it's the mission, and it's to reach people and help people and support people where they need it the most. That you're not alone. You're never alone. You don't have to be alone.
Because for some, healing isn't always about talking through your hardships. Sometimes it's about being still long enough to let something else help you carry the weight.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Here's a look at that live radar as we do continue through the active weather morning. I do want to mention that Upton County Sheriff's Office is reporting flooding across Highway 67 between Rankin and McCamey and have closed the road down. So if you are in that area, travel that way, keep that in mind because the road has been closed down. Once again, Highway 67 between Rankin and McCamey. We are seeing obviously that flash flooding ongoing across portions of the region still this morning. So let's kind of zoom in on everything that we have going on. We do have multiple flash flood warnings across the area. This one continuing for Glasscock, Martin, and Midland County until 10:30. This one also for Midland, Reagan, and Upton County. So this is kind of that area where we're seeing that flooding, that road closed. That's until 11:15. The one in Odessa was allowed to expire for now, but we do obviously have more activity off to the west and not moving very quickly. Flash flood warning in effect for Andrews and Gaines County, and that continues until 11. That is also in effect until for Hobbs as well due to ongoing rainfall there. And as you can see, we also do have a severe thunderstorm warning for including portions of Fort Stockton. So this is Brewster and Pecos County until 9. Less than an inch in diameter hail, so about 3/4 of an inch hail, but 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So we've been seeing some severe activity this morning. That is expected to continue as we head throughout today. Here's a look at that observed rainfall, anywhere from 1/100th of an inch to over 2 inches of rain and possibly approaching 3 in spots. Temperatures sitting in the 50s, 60s, and 70s with wind gusts anywhere from about 25 to 30 miles per hour. Like I mentioned, that activity looking to continue as we head through the afternoon and even into the evening. However, that activity should push out of the area by about 9. And here's our severe weather outlook for today with scattered severe storms possible for those areas in yellow. Still just barely including the Midland Odessa area, isolated severe storms for those areas in dark green. Large hail and strong winds do still look to be the main threat with any severe storm that forms. However, a tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Looking at that first alert 7-10 day forecast, much cooler today, so highs only looking to reach into the 70s. But with all this rainfall, cloud cover, possibly not even hitting the 70s today. Last time it rained, don't even think we got out of the 70s. A little bit warmer Wednesday and Thursday and a little bit drier as well ahead of some more active weather coming up as we head into the weekend.
All right. We'll have to keep our eye on the forecast. Of course, we're looking over at the Storm Center Encore outage map. That's where we continue to watch. These power outages can pile up across Odessa and Midland. We're talking about 1,100 people without power in Odessa, mostly the western and northern parts of town into West Odessa. But now Midland getting in on this situation as the storm continues to push through. It's a bit of an electrical storm time to time. The lightning and thunder are the main cause likely to be of these outages here. Restoration times are going to vary. I've seen between 11 and 1 p.m. tends to be the most common. And like Sawyer mentioned earlier, the Upton County Sheriff's Office reporting that flooding on Highway 67. This is that east and west highway between the two cities there. I've noticed there's a backup about King Mountain Road. That is where possibly the flooding is going to be. There's a big backup there of traffic. And that's because of the low-lying way. It's like a bowl there. And so it does tend to flood in that portion of the county there in Upton County. So please keep that in mind this morning as you're on your commute. Even out in the oil fields of West Texas, a lot of those bigger trucks, it may appear that you can get through, but in the meantime, a lot of times you really can't. It doesn't take much for your engine to get hydrolocked, and that's going to be about it for that engine. And also, it's very unsafe as well. Then we have to have first responders go and rescue them. So that's never a good thing. Please don't do that.
You mentioned the oil fields. A lot of mud out there, a lot of dirt.
So
you could even be getting stuck in the mud out there, even if, the flooding is not quite bad. Mud could be causing issues as well out on the oil fields.
Very good point. Yes, exactly. Very, very good point. A lot of ways to get stuck and ruin your day on this Tuesday. We don't want that to happen to you, so please be safe. Stay home if you can, at least for the time being. We are about to get another round in for the Permian Basin here shortly. It could be in the next few hours or so. It's not moving it's not the fastest moving storm, no. So it's going to be a little bit. We'll have to keep our eye on it, of course, but Stanton right now getting it on the rainfall. Big Spring coming up next as the system continues to move up the Interstate 20 corridor. In the meantime, we have still got a lot more to come this morning on Wake Up West Texas Extra.
Thanks for streaming with us. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Morning, one time now it's 8:51 on this Tuesday, election day across Texas this morning. The runoffs are happening. The polls have been open for almost 2 hours now as people get out and vote. If you are, though, you got to be careful out there because the flooding continues across portions of West Texas this morning. But also along with the flooding, there has been a lot of lightning with it. And so with that, we have power outages across the Permian Basin today. We're looking at the Storm Center Encore outage map right now, which shows quite a few people. The number has been flexing back and forth in Odessa between 1,000 and 700. We're currently at 1,100 customers affected there. Currently under review, the restoration time for a large portion of those outages. But it's been roughly 11 to 1 p.m. I've seen the range go now mostly 1 p.m.
Okay.
One of them is showing 9 p.m.
Oh my goodness.
So we have to just really wait and see what's going to happen there. You, of course, report your outage as soon as you can to Encore. That way they can start working on it. Midland's looking about 10 to 12:30. So these are going to continue to flex and change through the morning. You can see this map for yourself by logging on to stormcenter.encore.com anytime you want to be able to check outages across the area. That is going to be the way to do so. As we now take a look, of course, we want you to also take us with you wherever you go. Download our app on your connected TV, phone, or tablet. Sawyer and I are there from 5 to 7 every weekday morning on Wake Up West Texas, and then 7 to 9 right here on Wake Up West Texas Extra. As we take a live look outside this morning, look at that, Sawyer. Goodness.
A little scary looking over
It's a little
in
ominous.
Big Spring this morning. But that is kind of where that line has pushed into this morning. You can see that wet parking lot and even some sun off in the distance, but also those kind of menacing clouds in the foreground.
Okay. Why don't we lighten things up a little bit? Why don't we?
Yay.
So look at this. Spectators and competitors gathered at Cooper's Hill in England for the annual cheese rolling contest,
my
where
favorite
participants
day.
literally throw themselves down a 600-foot slope to chase a double Gloucester cheese.
Wow.
It's a cheese wheel. Those who reach the bottom first, as catching the cheese is almost impossible, they will get the cheese. The race is notorious for its high risk of injury due to the extreme angle. The hill and competitors are required to acknowledge that they take part in their own risk. The unusual event dates back to 1826, marking their 200th year of cheese rolling and throwing themselves down this hill.
We love the cheese roll. Wasn't it like 16 people got injured last year? And had to go,
Yes.
like,
Someone got pretty badly
hospital?
injured this
Yes.
time. I think I saw that video, just completely threw himself down the hill. They choose to do so, and that's that.
For a wheel of cheese.
For a wheel of cheese, which I get it, they're expensive, so I don't know, I might consider it. So
I mean, I love cheese, but I don't know.
that's on my bucket list for maybe towards the end of my bucket list when it's about to be kicked. Maybe that's the way to do it.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
Just
So,
see
I don't
it,
know
maybe.
if an older individual should participate in that.
Maybe not. Yeah, that wouldn't end well, but it certainly would end up kicking the bucket with that one. I mean, that wouldn't be good for a wheel of cheese. I keep saying a bucket of cheese, a wheel of cheese.
A bucket of cheese would be fun too.
That would be cool too. We would take that. Well, Sawyer and I will be back in 30 seconds for a news and weather update, of course, on this First Alert Weather Day. Stay with us here.
From First Alert 7 News, this is a Wake Up West Texas news and weather update.
Good morning, everyone. Time now is 8:55 on this Tuesday, but it's also a First Alert Weather Day. Meteorologist Sawyer McElroy is with me now, giving us a look at what to expect for today, but also what's going on right now, Sawyer.
Yeah, we are seeing thunderstorms ongoing across the region, along with flash flooding and even severe weather. I do want to mention that Upton County, the sheriff's office there is reporting flooding on Highway 67 between Rankin and McCamey and have closed the road. So if you are in that area, please keep that in mind. Looking at that radar, like I mentioned, multiple areas of flash flood warnings, severe weather as well this morning. And that does look to continue as we head throughout the day. Here's a look at our observed rainfall so far at some reporting sites, anywhere from about 1/100th of an inch to up to 2 inches of rain. Temperatures sitting in the 50s, 60s, and 70s with winds anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour. And here's a look at Big Spring, where it is absolutely pouring right now. Looking at our iCam, those gusts up to about 30 miles per hour currently with that system. As we head through the day, expecting some more showers, thunderstorms, and even the potential for severe weather heading through today. However, the bulk of that activity should be out of the area by late this evening. Looking at that severe weather outlook, scattered stratospheric storms possible for areas in yellow, including the Midland-Odessa area. Isolated stratospheric storms possible for those areas in dark green. Large hail, strong winds do remain the biggest threats with any severe storm that does form. However, a tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Looking at that First Alert 7-10-day forecast, we are going to see much cooler temperatures today. Highs only into the 70s for Midland-Odessa. A little bit drier, a little bit warmer Wednesday and Thursday. Ahead of some more active weather into the weekend.
Sir, thank you. Yesterday's Memorial Day saw 2 separate memorial services in Midland honoring veterans and the legacy they leave behind. At Rest Haven Memorial Park, Llewellyn Garcia Pipkin Funeral Home held a ceremony for Jerry P. Badger, Badger died January 17th at 104 years old. She was one of the last surviving women Air Force service pilots known as WASPs. The tribute included a 3-volley salute, a flyover, and the release of doves symbolizing the wings she earned. Meanwhile, Tall City American Post Legion 119 held its annual memorial service honoring those who died in service of this country. This year, one of the guest speakers was a representative from the National WASP World War II Museum.
We did lose one of the last 2 WASP members this year, so we decided to bring them in, let them discuss what their significant importance was in World War II. But every year we try to have a different guest speaker.
The keynote speaker told the story of the creation of growth of the program. During World War II, over 1,000 WASPs helped fly military aircraft and paved the way for future female pilots. In 2010, they received the Congressional Gold Medal. Hundreds of bikers gathered at the Permian Basin Vietnam Memorial yesterday for a long-standing tradition. The machines were loud, but not as loud as the message, riding for everyone who couldn't be there. The trip is not a parade, it's an honor ride, and a Wild Bill himself who put this together, this ride to remember, it is deeply personal for him.
My best friend was killed in Vietnam, along with some of my classmates that I went to school with at Robert E. Lee High School and Midland High School, and we ride for them.
The route runs from Midland to Odessa, then wraps up north to Andrews. Our ICAM actually caught bikers filing into the Vietnam Veteran Memorial there, the Veterans Memorial itself. They were treated to a free barbecue lunch hosted by the Andrews community. For the latest news, log on to FirstAlert7.com. We want you to download the First Alert 7 mobile weather app. Good to have today because we are not done yet with the threat of severe weather and heavy flooding across the area. Be safe out there today. We'll see you for First Alert 7 News at noon. Make it a great Tuesday. All right, this First Alert Weather Day continues. It does not wrap up now, even though it seems like it outside across Midland, Odessa.
Yeah, you know, we are in a little bit of a lull, but more active weather, severe weather possible as we continue through the day. So stick with First Alert 7 on all of our streaming platforms, our website, and our Facebook as well. We
bring up now the iCam. I just want to show you this before we go. Look at Big Spring now. We saw Hotel Settles at one time, but now you're losing visibility there. The storm is now moving into Big Spring, and look at that.
Lightning.
More power outages possible with this storm.
Yes, very heavy rainfall possible, so keep an eye on the forecast as we continue through today.
Make it a great day. Stay safe. We'll see you back here. Sawyer and I will be here for First Alert 7 News at noon. Make it a great Tuesday.